We need to talk about what happened to guns in Build 42. Not much has changed since my last video on guns, conveniently titled, Are Guns Finally Good in Build 42 Unstable? Yes. And that's a problem. Kinda. Community feedback has been positive, even though the players generally haven't figured out it happened yet. So what happened? Well, if you haven't noticed, the accuracy system no longer applies to zombies. If you click on a head, it just does damage. Range and skill level don't matter, how big the reticle is doesn't matter. Click head, do damage. It does have to be within the max range of the gun you are using. Guns in PZ have limited range. You can tell a zombie is in range when the center part of the reticle changes color. Initially, I thought this change was a bug for two reasons. It was added during a hotfix that did not mention the change in its patch notes, and the devs never announced the change in an official channel. More recently, they made a new default setting so that PvP and animals use the old accuracy system instead of this new one. Turns out, someone with level 0 aiming instantly blowing your head off at max range wasn't fun, as if it wasn't an entirely predictable outcome. We've made it half a year without a community riot about guns being OP in their current state. In theory, 100% accuracy should be OP, yet it's clear there's enough holding guns back that they really aren't. Also, I lied earlier. During the Unstable, they made ammo more common and added some new guns since my last video covering guns. I already recommended increasing ammo spawns if you plan on using guns, which aligns well with that change. The new guns are just that, new. Sadly, guns in Project Zomboid all feel the same aside from full auto rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that can't jam. There's no pity mechanic for jamming either, so expect to unjam your gun only for the next shot to jam. Guns sound different and have different animations, but at the end of the day, you're just clicking heads. It's hard to make them feel different when their mechanics don't limit you in such ways as actually having to point the gun in the direction you're shooting them. Back to the topic at hand. In single player, I'm shooting and killing these zombies, yet you'll notice I'm not gaining any aiming experience. I'll put a link to the mods I'm using to show this in the description. However, if I get close to the zombies and shoot them, I am gaining experience. That's because experience gain still requires you to pass the accuracy check, while dealing damage does not. Since experience gain is not obvious in vanilla Zomboid, and the primary feedback that you are successfully shooting is killing zombies, it will not surprise you that a bunch of players are confused by their aiming skill not leveling up in single player. For now, if you want to level your aiming in single player, you should follow the guide I gave in the previous video about guns. Basically, shoot zombies at point blank or use a shotgun. In multiplayer, you always gain experience from shooting zombies. The players who primarily play multiplayer are giving feedback that everything is fine, while the single player ones are just confused at how crappy aiming is to level. It's an inherent problem with splitting systems between single player and multiplayer. In this case, we have a further split when it comes to PvP. If you know about the changes to PvP accuracy with guns, you can completely dominate other players who have no clue why they are missing. Their guns clearly hit zombies, why not players in PvP? Because there's a hidden setting that changes how it works, that's why. You can now consider yourself informed on this topic. Before I go, I do want to talk about two more things. A bug with targeting, and the lack of progression when it comes to the aiming skill. One of the major benefits of leveling your aiming skill was increased accuracy. Now that accuracy hasn't mattered for months, there's a distinct lack of progression. Currently, leveling your aiming only increases your damage. The issue being, guns already do plenty of damage at level 0 aiming. There's no feeling of progress. It's like having an infinite katana in melee. It's only fun at first. Then we have the targeting bug. I've already covered this bug in the past, yet it's time to bring it up again since only half the bug was fixed. When you aim at a zombie, multiple hitboxes can overlap. This is important since you always want to shoot a zombie in the head. Previously, you could target the head, but an arm's hitbox was overlapping behind the head and that would be targeted instead. Arms take significantly less damage, while heads take extra damage. You do not want to shoot arms. They fix this by giving the preferred hitboxes higher priority. That way, when multiple hitboxes overlap on a single zombie, it'll choose the head first. Problem solved, right? No. This fix did not take into account multiple zombies. Shooting a single zombie works as intended. Shooting a zombie in a big pack still suffers from the bug. Once multiple zombie hitboxes overlap, it'll frequently choose to target a zombie you are not actually targeting. Often, this can be a single hand overlapping behind the head you are aiming at. You shoot, and the zombie behind the one you're aiming at gets hit. Since you can't reliably target the closest zombie to you, guns are pretty much useless in cramped close quarters combat. You could decide to aim at no zombies and let the backup aiming system take care of it for you. This has two problems. First, you have to align the barrel of your gun with the zombie you want to hit, which can be hard from the isometric perspective and the janky animation transitions Build 42 currently has. Yeah, they never actually fixed these. As for the second problem, when you do not directly aim at a zombie, it'll randomly choose a body part to hit. Most body parts take reduced damage, and you'll waste a ton of ammo trying to kill one zombie this way. Now that I'm making a clip for this life-saving mechanic, I just noticed it's really hard to shoot them while you are standing still, and very easy while strafing with A&D. Potentially another bug that hasn't been squashed yet. These two facts drive a stake into the heart of guns, in my opinion. I don't need to level my aiming skill to get the majority of benefit from guns. In situations where they are reliable, I'd rather patiently level up my melee skills, so that I can use the more reliable melee weapon to save me during a tough situation. Project Zomboid is a game where a single mistake can completely reset your progress. I do not want that mistake to be gun targeting is buggy.